Good. In this lesson, we will be talking about defining your health vision. And some of you might think that this is a less important lesson, but it's truly not. Because as you know, if you're a successful man, you will always set a plan and then go for that goal. If you don't set that goal, if you don't make a plan, then you're not even going after that. And that's why having a health vision, having a proper goal that you want to go after is very, very important. So with that said, let's dive deeper into this lesson. Now, we're going to cover this today. We're going to talk about the importance of a clear health vision. Then we will be talking about how you can set specific and measurable goals. Then we'll be talking about how you can identify your own personal motivations to really be able to always keep working. Keep going for those goals every single day. Because as you know, you won't be motivated every single day. But this is what really separates the guys who win and the guys who lose, is if they can keep doing whatever they have to do when it's not that fun anymore. Then we will be talking about visualizing success, how you can do that, how you can be successful in your mind before you achieve that. And then we will be talking about the next steps and the action items for this module. So, the importance of a clear health vision. Clarity equals focus. A well-defined vision directs your decisions and actions. And this is why it's very important to have clarity in terms of what you want to achieve, where you want to go. Really, what you want to be able to do in your life, who you want to help, what you want to do, and why you want to do it. That's why it's so important, right? The motivation and clarity. When you have clarity, it makes it easier to stay motivated and act right when you're not motivated. Like I said before, you're not going to be motivated. You're not. It's normal. No one is motivated all the time. But it's building those habits every single day that will separate you from the losers. This is when you see a guy, and this is why it's so respectable to be in good health, because you know you can't buy it. Now, a lot of you guys watching this, you have money. You're successful in your own industries, but you might not have the health that you want. And so this is why this is so respectable, right? Because you can't just buy a six-pack. You can't buy energy all day. You can't do that. And then it's really about the identity, because who you are shapes your actions. Because if you're a guy who has a six-pack, then you have to act like a guy who has a six-pack. If you are a guy who has energy all day, you have to act like a guy who has energy all day. You have to take the actions of a guy who does that. You have to take the actions of a man who takes care of his kids, treats his family right, and make sure that everything is set. So having the right identity, setting that identity, maybe even before, well, actually even before achieving it in real life, is one of the easiest hacks to do to trick your brain into knowing and thinking that you've already won, that you already have what you want to have. Because, and it's pretty simple. When you have guys who their identity is being sick, that's who they are, that's who they tell people they are. When they introduce themselves, they're like, yeah, hi, my name is blah, 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 and I suffer from this. I can't do this because of that. It becomes their identity. But if you switch that around, you could do that. It becomes a superpower. Then you have energy all day because you're a good father, because you have to. Whatever reason you might have, that is your identity now. You close deals late at night because you have to, because your business will suffer if you don't. So it's the same thing. Who are you and who do you want to be? So set that identity from the beginning, and everything else will be very easy, especially with setting goals. And I'm going to touch on that now. So setting specific, measurable goals. One of the easiest ways to set goals, I'm going to talk about that, is using the SMART framework. But what you also have to do is having quantifiable targets. Use metrics to gauge progress, such as body fat percentage, shoulder to waist ratio, and lifting records. Whether you're setting PRs, whatever you're doing, personal records, it's very important to note down where you are right now, so you can always look back. Have progress pictures, so you can always look back and say, I actually looked like that 3 months ago. Now I look like this. Now I feel like this. This is why it's also important to write down whatever you're feeling, whatever questions you have in a daily planner, for example, right? If you write down your body fat today and then you compare it in 3 months, you're going to see, okay, I actually changed. Because in the day to day, you will not see change. You're not. It's going to take you a few weeks at first to feel the change, to see the change. And then after a few weeks, after a few months, you're really going to be able to feel that change. And then you look back and say, how could I ever do that to myself? How could I ever be that fat? How could I ever not be that strong? How could I not be that energized all the time? Right? It's very simple. And then again, using the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Now, I like specific and measurable and time bound. I like those in the SMART framework. Achievable and relevant, that's always up for discussion, right? Because I don't want to say you don't have any physical limits, because we're obviously human, we have physical limits. But I think you should still go for what you might not think is achievable today. I think you should still go for those goals. This is what they say, right? Shoot for the moons and get to the stars. So, achievable, relevant, shoot above. Go for something bigger. I think you should definitely do that. But specific and measurable, for sure, and time-bound is even easier, right? So those are the goals you set using the SMART framework. It's very simple. Now, identifying personal motivation. We have the intrinsic versus the extrinsic drivers, right? You can feel good, you can feel strong, you can feel secure, or you're securing your legacy, versus impressing others. Now, the first three are intrinsic motivators, and the last one is an extrinsic motivator. And both of them are good, okay? None of them are wrong. They both have their pros and cons. In the long term, you might see that the intrinsic drivers, the intrinsic motivators, will get you the furthest. They will help you get you to your goal. Most people who achieve greater things don't necessarily do it for themselves. They do it for their kids. They do it for their parents. They do it for their wives. They do it for their communities. This is what drives most men to do very bigger things. It's not so much impressing others. Obviously, you can also do that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And some people, they use their current status as fuel, whether that's anger, it's sadness, it's happiness. Everyone has felt some sort of rejection, right? And you've had unlimited energy during that time. I heard one guy say that the heartbreak is the best motivator ever, because you might have endless motivation and endless energy due to that heartbreak. And it's normal, right? So you should really use that energy, fuel on that energy to go out and do big things in your life. That's one of the main things here, right? Using intrinsic or extrinsic drivers, or at least knowing why you're motivated, and then taking advantage of it. Taking advantage of it instead of being locked down to your emotions and always in your emotions. I feel sad, I can't do anything. No, if you feel sad, then you know you have to do something about it. You know you have to do something about it to change so you're not sad anymore. Flip it, reframe it. That's how you should use this, to identify your own personal motivations. And then another point is aligning your goals with your values, whether that's family, whether that's career, personal growth, whatever it is. You will be the product of your environment. So if you are around other winners, you will be another winner. If you're around guys who work out, not necessarily to be the biggest ever or to get a six-pack, but guys who work out for their health, to be better men, to have more energy, to be better fathers, you will be one of them. So align your goals with your values, whatever they may be. Then visualizing success. You can do a mental rehearsal where you picture your ideal body and be aware of how you talk to and about yourself. Now, I say this picturing your ideal body because it's tangible, right? It's tangible. You can look yourself in the mirror and then you can imagine yourself having less fat around your stomach, for example. It doesn't necessarily have to be abs, but it could be that for a start. And then be aware of how you talk to yourself or about yourself. Never talk down. Never talk down on yourself. Never talk negative about yourself, because you will become what you say to yourself. So maybe you think that this is all woo-woo, but it's really not. Whatever you say, the words you use, will be your reality. This is how we shape our realities. It's by the way we think, and we shape the way we think by the words we speak. So be very aware of how you talk to yourself. Don't talk negative about yourself. If something bad happens, say, okay, I need to do better next time. I have to improve. This is exactly why I have to improve. I will do this next, instead of being there in your feelings. Another way to do this, maybe you've done this before, but using a vision board. Now, I know a lot of successful business owners, successful men, they use vision boards where they put up the house they want to live in someday, the cars they want to drive, the watches they want to have. But you can use this as well for your physique. It could be pictures of you playing with your kids. It could be whatever, using AI to create abs, give you a six-pack, right? Make it real. Make it real. I remember when I was playing football, my coach told me about this study that they had done where attackers, strikers, when they saw that the ball would reach the net, just by seeing that, just by visualizing that, they would score more goals. Because it would be normal for them to visualize that success. Hitting the ball and getting it into the net, playing football, right? So using a vision board, visualizing that success is really, really important. So what should you do now? Write down your goals using the SMART framework. Specific, measurable, and time-bound. Now, achievable, relatable, that's up to you to decide what that means, right? But at least this is one way that you can write down your goals. You can also build a vision board. If you have a vision board already, you can just add whatever goals you have in terms of your physique, in terms of your health, in terms of your family life, whatever that is in terms of your health, right? And then set your identity. Pick who you want to be. You've already done that, because that's why you are where you are today. But to go to the next level, you have to pick a new identity. A man who is both successful in his business, successful financially, successful in terms of his relationships, his family life, but also successful in terms of his health. So do that. And then you should share your goals in the group. And if you're in the paid group, I will be there to comment on your goals and tell you what you can do to make it even easier for you to reach those goals. And the community will be there as well. So there's nothing else to say than let's get to work.